You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment. Make sure you subscribe and check out the playlist.
I grew up hearing gunshots in the late night. Ghetto bird, police sirens as a mother cries. Just another victim of the Sound Brown genocide. Locals posted, locked and loaded, ready to take lives. And when they heard the chief late, they would duck up out of sight. Like your car when the sun down, it was mission time. You had to stay alert, cause bullets always travel blind. We stayed posted, we stayed drinking, and we getting high. Marchando down the enemy's neighborhood as we ride. Put the hood, put the glica sample, fuck their side. No regrets, but the truth is no peace of mind.
G-Files.
Alright, here we have Barrio Mecca. Now, Barrio Mecca is actually in the city of Mecca, by the Mecca Sports Center. It is the original neighborhood, so it's been around since the 80s. This is then you have Mecca Vine, and then Mecca Vineyard. So those are the Mecca neighborhoods, but this is Mecca, just Mecca 1-3. You know what I mean? In the city of Mecca, you know what I mean? Yeah, they deep, man, and they definitely be doing their thing right there. Representing, and right there, holding it down for their neighborhood, going at it with the surrounding neighborhoods right there by Coachella, and yeah, man, they be holding it down right there. You already know. Alright, here we have Lento. Now, Lento is a neighborhood that was started in the 80s. Roughly small neighborhood. You know what I mean? They're not really large in numbers. You hardly see them up. But nonetheless, man, they be right there on Indiana Street. As a matter of fact, that'd be one of their cliques, Indiana Street Locos. And then they right there be on Van Buren. Right there by Jackson and Monroe. That's where their neighborhood's at. Right there in Lento. That's who they are. A roughly small neighborhood. But nonetheless, man, they get active. Here you have VCT. Now, VCT stands for Barrio Covert Track. It's right here by the Coachella Valley on 48th Street and Colonia is where their neighborhood's at. They stay actually really close to Campos neighborhood. As a matter of right across, Cover Track is the name of the housing units right there by where the trailers are at. That's the name of that area. That's why the barrio is known as Cover Track. You know what I mean? Now, for some odd reason, some people thought that this was a white neighborhood. I don't know why. Maybe the name, I really don't know. But nah, they're homeboys, and yeah, they definitely be holding it down for their neighborhood right there and representing, you know what I mean? Shout out to the homie Crook and the homie Sapo from Covert Track, Firme Camaradas, and shout out to all the homies from Covert Track that be right there representing, you know what I mean? Here we have Thermal. In the city of Thermal, where their neighborhood's at, right there on 56. Their neighborhood has been around since the 80s. Hey, they were actually roughly a deep-ass hood, you know what I mean? Nowadays they're not really so as deep, they were deeper back then, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, man, they definitely be right here representing for the city, the only neighborhood right here in their city. They got this shit on lockdown, going at it with the surrounding neighborhoods, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, that's who they are. Definitely holding it down, Thermal Rifa, so VTR, they be right there holding it down, for the neighborhood right there on 52nd Avenue. Definitely they put it on the map right there. Rest in peace to Criminal. Yeah, shout out to all the writers from there and, holding it down for their neighborhood. Now, here we have Oasis. Now, Oasis, boys, right there on 76 and Pierce Street is where their neighborhood's at. Another neighborhood that's been around since the 80s. Hey, man, you definitely hear about them. They made the news already a few times for murder, racketeering, drug and gun sales. Man, they definitely get it cracking over there. Like I said, man, over here by the Coachella area and the IE, man, they definitely ain't playing, you know what I mean? They with the business, You know, they definitely get it cracking. It's the Wild Wild West up in here. You know, hey man, they with the function, homie. You know, you could actually look them up, man. They got like several cases like on them. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely keep it active and be kicking up dirt over there. You know, for their neighborhood. You know, like they say, oh, it's the desert. There ain't nothing over there. Nah, my boy. Like I said, don't let them areas fool you, man. They get that shit cracking, homie. Yeah, but that's what's up with Oasis boys right there, man. You know what I mean? Now here we have Vital MGF. Used to be a tank crew that became a neighborhood, but that was back in the days. You know, they were a tank crew, an old school tank banging crew since the 80s. Became a neighborhood like roughly around the 90s. You know what I mean? They're right there on Garfield Street and Patton and Reese and Adam. That's where their neighborhood's at. Now this neighborhood right here stands for My Gangster Family. Men's greatest fear is actually the term used by one of these guys who's a rapper. You know what I mean? Merrill, who belonged to East Side Records. You know what I mean? That was his label, so that's what what he made it stand for in this record thing. But the actual term for the neighborhood is My Gangster Family. Now Merrill, now I heard there was some kind of like child molestation on his on his thing, but like I said, I haven't seen the black and white, and we could only go based on black and white, and I haven't seen the black and white. You know what I mean? So so I can't say whether that's true or not. You know what I mean? That's a rumor floating around. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just here to say that I haven't seen it. So, that's why I had the picture, because, if I was to actually know, I wouldn't even put the picture up, because child molesters in my book definitely do not fly, homie. You know what I mean? That's a no-no. So, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, man, the neighborhood be deep. They definitely be representing right here in the south side of Riverside. You know what I mean? That's what their neighborhood's at. But they're probably one of the few ones where they're just not accepted over there. But nonetheless, man, they be going at it with everybody over there and definitely representing for their neighborhood, holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Now here you have Miraloma. Now Miraloma's in the city of Miraloma. Now there's two of them. There's the Originators, which is the Dodge Street, Miraloma, and then you have the Young Crowd, Miraloma. Now I couldn't get no info on the Young Crowd. You know what I mean? I do know that there is a neighborhood named Miraloma Young Crowd. You know what I mean? I had bumped into a homie que le dicen Serio from there, but like I said, I can't get no intel on their neighborhood. But I do know that that street is the originator out of the two. The older one, the Originator. You know what I'm saying? They've been around since the late 70s, early 80s. Now their neighborhood is the largest out of the two. The one that you hear about, they definitely keep it active. You know what I mean? These guys, they got a pretty good reputation. You know what I mean? Right there on that street, obviously, they definitely be putting in work, going at it with the surrounding areas, giving law enforcement definitely a hard time. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, they definitely with the business, and they be right there representing for their neighborhood and holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Now here we have Barrio Vista Rifa. Now Barrio Vista Rifa is the same one as the one from West LA. You know what I mean? I'm putting them on this portion. So obviously they've been around since the 80s. I'm putting them on this portion because they do have a clique that they recognize that this is their area. Proud to be from the IE. You know what I mean? They're proud of that, being their neighborhood. So that's why, I decided to add them to this portion. You know what I'm saying? Because, they claim it as, their home. You know what I mean? So, That's the reason, you know, I put them right here. Now they stay in Bloomington, right there on the north of Bloomington. So on the north of the 10 freeway is where their neighborhood's at. Right there on Valley and Bloomington is where their neighborhood's at. So in between Valley Boulevard and Bloomington Boulevard is where you could find the Barrio Vista neighborhood. You know what I mean? So they got a pretty chunk size and territory, even though they're not that deep. They run a pretty good section. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they definitely be right there holding it down for the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up with Barrio Vista right there. Now here you have Barrio Los Cerros. Now Barrio Los Cerros is right there in Los Cerros, right there on Lugo and Cerros Drive is where you can find Barrio Los Cerros on by Valverde Boulevard as well. That's where Barrio Los Cerros is at, a roughly small neighborhood, been around since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? You don't really hear about them as much because they're not really a large neighborhood. They're roughly small, in numbers. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, man, that's who they are, and that's where they be at, and they holding it down still for their neighborhood, and right there representing for their barrio. You know what I mean? Now here we have Westside Bloomington. Now Westside Bloomington stays right there on the west of Bloomington. You can find them right there on Santa Ana and Jurap Street. I think that's how you say that damn street. That's where their neighborhood's at. They large in numbers. They definitely keep it active, man. You hear about this neighborhood, they're a large size neighborhood. You know what I mean? So they definitely be holding it down right there for their barrio. You know what I mean? These guys, ain't no chumps. They with the business. You know what I mean? And definitely, holding it down right there for their neighborhood. Shout out to the homie Big Topo from there. Shout out to Little Risky from Bloomington. Witted ass homies. And yeah, Westside Bloomington's been around since the late 70s, early 80s, man. And they definitely with the business, homie. You know what I'm saying? Yes, and that's what's up with Bloomington right there.